The Cailleach is a title and also a popular figure in Irish, Scottish and Manx folklore. She has strong associations with the landscape and the creation of the landscape, as well as weather, and specifically weather within the winter months. She's seen as a goddess of nature and also of sovereignty, and in this video I'm going to be going through some of her associations with the Irish landscape and also specifically the harvest period. Díomh Cailleach agus fáilte. Hello and welcome. It's me, Amy the Crafty Cailleach, and I'm back. So I've been missing for a few months. I was finishing my thesis and it took a lot more time than I was thinking. I think I was just caught myself thinking I'd be able to keep up regular content. But anyway, I'm back and I'm super excited to bring you lots and lots of videos. I have a list about a mile long of videos, including thesis related topics and non-thesis related topics. I will be doing a catch-up video after this as well, so keep your eyes peeled for that. And while you're at it, maybe hit the subscribe button and click the bell for notifications if you haven't already, because I have so much planned for the next few months. But as I said, this video is about the Cailleach. So you might remember my video that I did last year, What Even is a Cailleach, where I went through all of the different words and phrases and animals and plants that have the word Cailleach in them. And the word itself in Irish, in modern Irish usage, means witch or hag. It's also a very similar word in both Scots Gaelic and also in Manx. It's believed that her name evolved from the Old Irish word Cailleach, meaning veiled one, and Gearóid of Crualaoich, who literally wrote the book on the Cailleach, has given suggestion and kind of argued that he thinks this word comes from a meaning sharp, shrill or inimical, referring to her associations with the winter, the wilderness, and her associations also with horned beasts and cattle. There is associations with a lot of other animals as well, which I will go through in future videos. So as I said, she has associations with the landscape, and there are particular places in Ireland. I'm just going to name a few. There are particular places in Ireland that she is associated with and has lent her name to. Probably most well-known association that she has is with the Beare Peninsula in West Cork. So in Irish folktales, she's probably most referred to as the Cailleach Bheara, or the Hag of Beare, which is a similar name to what she's known in Scotland as well. The Beare Peninsula is located in West Cork. It's a beautiful place down in the southwest of Ireland, which is known for its mountains, its views of the Atlantic Ocean, and its rocky landscape. And as I said, this is particularly appropriate because she's known for the creation of hills, mountains, fighting with the giants by throwing rocks. So lots of places that she's known for and associated with have those rock features. Staying in County Cork, there's also a wedge tomb called Labba Cailleach Wedge Tomb, or Labba Cailleach, which is literally the hag's bed or the Cailleach's bed. This is located in Glanworth in County Cork, and according to folklore, the Cailleach's grave and former dwelling is there. Moving west to Kerry, specifically to Dingle, according to a paper written by Eleanor Hull in 1927 entitled Legends and Traditions of the Cailleach Bheara, or Old Woman or Hag of Beare. She's said to have been born in Dingle in County Kerry at Chalkmore, or the Big House, and this location of this Chalkmore is said to be the most western point in Ireland, and that's today been associated with Tivor, which is in the Dingle Peninsula. She's also said to have worn a veil given to her by Saint Comín, but that is probably a Christian addition to her legend. The last place I'm going to talk about is in County Clare, which is, you probably have heard, the Cliffs of Moher. In County Clare, the most southerly tip of the Cliffs of Moher is located there, and specifically it's called the Hag's Head. So again, this is an Atlantic Ocean kind of view with lots of rocky landscape and a very jagged cliff. There are lots more places where she appears in the landscape, with stories associated with particularly places as well that have taken her name. So if you would like me to do a video specifically on the places where she appears in Ireland, please do let me know in the comments, and I will try and bump that up my very long list of videos that I have planned. So now that we've looked at who she is and some places where she's associated, let's now look at her associations with the Harvest Festival. So while, as I was saying, she's very much associated with the winter months, like the cold weather, storms and that kind of thing, she starts to appear in the folktale around the harvest period as a kind of warning, winter is coming type situation. And going back 50, 100 years and further back in Ireland, agriculture and the harvest would have been done manually. You may have heard me in previous videos talk about the concept of meitheal, which is a working party. And the concept of meitheal would be that people in the community would all come together and have a working party. So they would all work on one person's field and then move on to the next person's field and kind of help each other, kind of like mutual aid, but in a physical labor type sense. So nowadays, because we have combine harvesters and much more advanced technology with Irish agriculture, the manual element isn't really there anymore. But in decades and centuries gone by, they would have manually had to cut the wheat and barley. So the harvest period starts off in August and typically with Lunasa. If you haven't seen my video on Lunasa, you can click here and it will bring you to it. So the harvest period starts off in Lunasa, or August, the month of August, and also with the Lunasa festival at the start of August or end of July. Typically what would have happened is the harvest itself would have started off with the grains, so wheat and barley. In August you start to see the fields in Ireland have bales and rolls of hay all lined up when farmers are trying to get all that done to get feed in for their livestock for the winter. So traditionally these manually would have been cut down with a scythe, which is, if you've ever seen a stereotypical picture of the Grim Reaper, it's that kind of big bladed knife effectively for cutting grain and grass. So as the meitheal party is working through the field and cutting everything down, when they get to the last sheath was called the Cailleach, and there was a couple of different things that would have been done to it depending on your region. So sometimes it would be left in the field and dressed up like a dolly, or it would be taken and crafted into a very simple like wheat dolly, kind of like corn dollies. And there's two different things that would have been done with this. So either it would be taken in and put on the kitchen dresser as a sort of good luck charm for the coming months, or it would be fashioned into a dolly and passed on to the next farmer who was working on their field. And this would go on and on and on, so that the last farmer that was left with this Cailleach doll had to house and feed the hag for the winter. Lots of folk tales tell of the Cailleach standing in the field with her own scythe, ready to take the ankles out from under the farmers if they weren't harvesting fast enough. So this practice isn't just recorded in the folklore archives on dúchas.ie, but it's also recorded even up to the 60s and 70s in newspaper articles that I found. So while she's very much associated with the winter months and sovereignty on the landscape, she starts to appear at this time of year at the harvest festivals as a reminder that winter is coming and we better get a move on to get all of our loose ends tied up before the harsh winter starts to set in. This year I was invited back down to Féile Lunasa, which I have a short vlog coming very soon on, and I was giving a workshop there making the Cailleach dolls, and it was so lovely to share this bit of Irish folklore and folk craft with the children down in Milltown. It's something that's not really practiced anymore, or at least not popularly practiced anymore, in contrast to the Bridget's crosses, which are very, very popular still. As I said, I will be going into more detail in future videos about the associations with An Cailleach and more areas around Ireland, and also I have other videos planned regarding her weather associations and also the formation of landscapes and different stories that we have with her fighting giants and things like that. So do make sure you're subscribed and make sure you're hitting that button as well for notifications so you don't miss out. One thing that I actually forgot to say was that this week I shared on Facebook a new mural that was unveiled, no pun intended, but a new mural was unveiled of the Cailleach. Absolutely beautiful mural with some of the animals that she's associated with, so I'm going to stick that here. I will link the Facebook post down below and give you some information as well on the artist for that. Yeah, it's really lovely to see the living heritage that we have in Ireland, and artists really celebrating the heritage that we have and the figures in our folklore and mythology. But that's it for this video. Thank you very much for coming, and slán go fóill. I will see you soon.